Good morning. Let me make a little bit of space here. Wow. Okay. So I'm still up at my place. Be back in the studio live tomorrow. Don't miss Friday. It's the angry, very angry segment. Yeah. Okay. Dave's been trying to get me to go live with him, and he's having so much difficulties here. I don't know what to tell the fella. I don't. I'm going live the best way I can. David, I'm sorry. I don't know what your issues are. I don't know if Facebook doesn't like you. I know they don't always care for me. Another cold day, though, up here outside of Pittsburgh, about 60 miles up in the mountain here. I'm up at one of the highest crests of the mountains in Pennsylvania. And, just like you think it was like fall, mid-fall, or not even into spring yet, with the exception that, you got leaves all over the trees. So here we are in this great climate issue. And they're up there ponding the skies, of course. Seeding, getting light rains again. It's just crazy. Next week's supposed to look positive, so I'm going to try to keep to that outlook on positivity. Last night I got on. I know some people checked it out. Please like and share as often as you want. Support and messages to all the people of America. Hello, America. Hello. I forgot to give my introduction of hello to you guys. I appreciate you so much. Nothing without you. Remember that. And we all matter together. This is a big fight. It's religion. It's politics. It's narratives. It's disgusting. It's deplorable, and it doesn't get any better. Let me kill this one light here. It actually glares at me. I don't know. Maybe it'll give you a little bit better picture. I'm not in the best lighting or anything here. It's my workplace. It's my place of serenity. Had another nice fire last night. Chilled out for a while outside. And then, once the dark hit, the animals of the dark come out. A lot of weird noises last night, I'm not one that gets spooked. I love sitting in the dark. But I had a couple of moments like, what the F is that? What was, You hear strange things all the time. Whatever. But I still haven't been able to do any stargazing up here. But I do have something to talk to April about if she's on. I can't see this in this distance what's going on, but we're going to talk 1966 in a few minutes, April. Give you a little treat of a news thing that's been floating around. Something I knew about for a lot of years. I don't talk about it a lot. I talk about a lot of things. I don't always talk about disclosure. So people know what that's about. So last night I got on. I was kind of heated about things, because I try to do my morning segments and keep the evenings free. But I don't know. I was just so aggravated about things breaking in the news and so forth, and narratives and pushes, and our children's safety, our world's safety. Where people really stand in things. What is separating, dividing us all? Analyzing all the issues. Politics here, religion here, Keller here, systemic this here, communism here, dictations here, and puzzle fitting here, there. You get it. You guys get it. Okay. Just to bring up a couple things that I did review yesterday. Nothing major. I'm going to try to breeze as easily as I can through this for you guys. And again, thank you. I really appreciate all you do for me. But remember, this is your message. This is what comes to me. This is what I think about. This is what I try to talk about. These are the things that help me, help you, help me put things together in a better picture. And I think we're getting there. I really do. I think we're getting there. But again, I'm not going to change anything on what I've told you. When I told you to get your provisions in order, I meant it. More cyber attacks. That's right. A lot of things. All right, anyway, Texas, on that voting thing that occurred where the Dems walked out, and Abbott, hey, you're not going to come in and vote and share your obligation to the public people as servants, we're not going to pay you. So they're negotiating and putting a lot of pressures in place to get these Dems off their asses and get them in there to do their jobs. Win or lose, that's part of the process, how this works. You know, a good stiff kick in their asses just might be what it takes. You know, if you got to stop their pay, stop their pay. You're the governor of the state. They're not performing their job. Impeach them, stop their pay, you know, put them on unpaid administrative leave, as they would do to you and me in our jobs. Correct? I know I'm correct. I went through it once over an injury, working for a church, mind you. You think that's where the most peace-loving people are. And no, I found out the hard way that in no way is true at all. I mean, in my case, it wasn't. In my case, I had a lot of bad cases. I think that's why I fight things the way I do. Why my ideology is as it is. So don't judge me. I never will judge you. I'm just in this position of where to be helpful to people is the best positive thing that anybody can do for anybody. And that's the truth. Now, we have 15 states. I may have mentioned this before. 15 states of good who are now putting pressure on the banks. And a lot of banks are shutting down. I went to the bank yesterday. I couldn't even get in the bank. They're still on ours, yet parts of Pennsylvania are now opening up. You can 100% this. You can, and guess what? You couldn't even get in the bank. You had to go through the drive-thru. The bank was at full capacity from what I could see through the visual of the drive-thru, seeing people not wearing masks, all hanging out, no 6 feet apart, but yet the bank was closed to the public, and you could only pull up through the outside window and do business that way. How safe is our money? Really, how safe is our damn money? It's not safe. It's not safe, but I guess we're still being able to pay bills. So these 15 states, and I think this is truly important, the ones, and there are ones out there that will not support fossil fuels and loans for people of, America to become solvent or stay as, making America great again, as we were running that way for 4 years strong. And they're going to do a disconnect with them. And they're not going to do any banking or keep any funds with them. And they're going to look for smaller, private, community savings and loans and things like that to where and how they will operate their businesses in the states. Which will give a good push to the ones in the lower sectors of banking who are trying to, continue and make ends meet. And they need to survive as well. 3,500 banks across America shut down. More coming. I just saw another one too, right near me. They shut it down, and this is happening. This just happened within the last week. So these numbers will increase. Part of their plan, part of how they went, and the microchips and all these things. Whether you got shot with one or not, but let's stay on the factor of the microchip process. More and more people are being paid to be analysts to share and report and try this new system that's out there. They're being paid quite handsomely too. And anyway, they get a little injection right here on their hand, and it's like the size of a little grain of rice and uncooked. So it's small and dried out, as you could imagine. It's very small. Partially put under the skin, partially put into the muscle, I guess, so it doesn't move. I don't know. But you just wave your hand in front of anything and you can walk out the door. You're pretty much done. That's your finances. No cutting checks. No more credit cards. La 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 la. Anyway, so yeah, 15 states are, fighting back the best they can on these banks who no longer support the good of where America was. And again, I got more to talk about on that too. I really do. Now, Biden's under a lot of pressure, and he should be every day of his life. Paybacks can be a bitch. Karma is what you ask for, is what the American people of MAGA, Red Hat, us, the strong, the right, the good right, we're going to create that pressure for you. As they do to us. If they're going to put pressure on us every day, we're going to fight back the best we can. And we have a lot of warriors out there doing it. A lot of warriors that tend to do it for me here. And I truly mean that. You know, if you have 400 or 500 views just off Facebook on your homepage, and your numbers grow elsewhere, and they are, and I thank you. You guys are the importance of that, getting me out there like that. But that is a big push, and I meet hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people through this thing. And some get me, some don't. Some yell at me, some don't. Some love me, some don't. It's a some don't kind of situation. But you know, pressure's important. But now the GOP up there is, you know, dumping a lot on Harris over this border issue. Still, they're putting people in place. They don't want to go there. They don't want to, you know, engage in the issues. They don't want to tell any truths. They don't want to be caught in any conversations. They don't want to be caught and asked questions by reporters, because their narrative and answers are not, they're not going to be ready for it. And you know Miss Giggles, you know, the little hope factor that she is. And that's the truth, you know. When you get her in a place where she's uncomfortable, she has that, and it's a disease in people. It truly isn't. She has it. You stand there and you start to laugh when you're under pressure, because that's all you know how to do. For whatever reason, your mind triggers. Like Tourette, you don't know when it's going to happen. So she has a Tourette laugh. I'll just put it to you that way. And I got some things to tell you about her today too. You know, some things that I just want to make you aware, and you may be aware in ways, but may not know it all. So yeah, a little bit on that stuff there, on how things work. Did you catch the? Every year there's a yearly presidency. The vice president or president goes to the military. It's kind of like a graduation ceremony right around Memorial Day and so forth. And she cracks a joke. And she starts to laugh because there's nobody really. It's like she's in the room alone. She's left in the room alone is how I got it. And I see it that way. I felt it that way. And she had no choice but to laugh at herself. Because everything and anything that came out of her mouth and that statement that she thought she would get this major response to, it's like everybody turned their head to her like, yeah, whatever. And that crushed her. That crushed her. That put her in a spot, like the handshake spot. You know? Some people don't take that thing nicely. Anyway, this virus is now spreading. Not so much a new strain of it, but it's going to affect the Olympics in some ways. But they're saying that it's spreading in Japan. And they know that a lot of healthy people are coming in, but they're going to insist upon everybody to sign waivers and performance waivers to compete. That's pretty crazy, huh? That's pretty crazy. Waivers. You know, you try to put things together there with what we know and who you know and how we know it. And did I mention by any chance, arrest Bill Gates? Oh, I did now. Arrest them. Get behind that platform. Arrest Bill Gates. Arrest Bill Gates. You get it, right? Come on. Arrest Anthony Fauci. These are the voices and these are the comments that we need to be specific to. How do you fact check arrest Bill Gates? It's a comment. It's not a fact. It's an ideology. How can they fact check it? I don't know. It should be fine if you were to do it, even if you just created a little profile bluff that goes up there and you just, you know, get behind arrest Bill Gates. Start a movement. Keep this movement in America strong, you know. This guy needs taken off the planet, to be honest with you. If in fact he's still there, because I mean there's so much of that out there. We know that. But let's say he's there. Let's get him arrested. Let's say Fauci's there. Let's get him arrested. For that matter, Hunter Biden. Let's get him arrested. His laptop says everything. We need him in as a witness on his own father, and we don't give a shit about all these family exclusion laws. Proof is proof. Bottom line. And you know, how many times did Biden actually admit to the crime? And yet, we are where we are. This is why it's important to use your voice. I don't care. Put your arrest things up there. You know, support America. Stay strong with it. All right, it's funny, though, on cyber attacks, right? More. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Cyber attacks now, as I told everybody, I told you things are coming. Well, yeah, I'll give you more on that in a minute. It is, but 1/5 of the meat, uh, you know, being harvested for Americans, and that would be the right terminology, destroyed over a cyber attack. Could you imagine? As I said, lies, lies, lies. Yeah, and that's what they are. They're doing it themselves, and they're going to place more of them out there. My biggest fear is the power grid. You know that. But these are the little kickbacks that we as Americans are going to be facing. And I've told you, get your things. I don't know if we run out today or tomorrow. Will this have effects? Damn for sure straight it's going to have effects. It's going to make prices go up. It affects everything. It affects everything. You need to be safe. Think to the future. Think for a period of, definitely a couple weeks of a major catastrophe in some event, even if it's a false flag event, but it succeeds because they can say it's there and the manufactured media will report it's there, whose operatives are in the CIA against us, who the CIA was not even developed under a United States government program. Not guaranteed. Look into it. You'll see. Okay, anyway, so, yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more on the cyber in a minute. I will. Also, something else important. This came from a new friend, April. April, it's out there in the audience. Appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I enjoyed your conversation last night. Everybody's ideas and things that they send me and tell me are good. And I just want to say thank you to her. But not that did she just share that with me. I knew of some things going on, but she put the icing on the cake when she gave us to me. Now Joe freezes all the leases in Alaska on pumping in oil and minerals and so forth. All the things that we need. All the things that make America great again. More now lost. Frozen. Like the Keystone Pipeline and other pipelines being shut down. But the doors being opened to Russia. Well, that's a kiss-ass operation there. Biden fears Putin. Biden fears his knowledge, what he has on him, how he can expose him, how he can demean him, and he's already doing it. He doesn't even care. It's just the way they're doing it is they're being very eventful, and it is happening. So what's Biden do? Oh, we'll give you the pipeline. We'll even give you some money. Yeah, of course, your money, not his money, your money. But that's Joe. All right, Sidney Powell also, over the weekend, she had on her little, I call her leather fatigues, her biker apparel. Anyway, she sat down for a Q&A. The most asked questions that she had, because, I brought that up yesterday because I had a most asked question. But hers was about Trump and the tools and the things that he could have did and the stopping of the transfer of power and why he didn't use it. What some of the possibilities are that he didn't use it. And she said under the 1340 Act of 2018 that he signed, and also in September of 2020, readdressed it, modified it, he had the tools in his hand concerning November 3rd and November 4th and much more. But concentrating to November 3rd and November 4th of 2020, you know why I say it that way, everyone in his circle, which I really feel he had an infection all through his circle, through his whole regime of presidency, and he did. They were plants all around him. And when you come in as president and you're nominating people that are already in offices and so forth, and their credentials look good, maybe you're blindsided a little bit, even though he was way successful. And he kept his pressures and he kept his ideologies for the American people. He never changed, not to the day he left. So, to me, everything that she talked about and discussed was how this all stuck. And everyone said, suck it up. You got to go. There's nothing you can do about this. And, while, as he told everybody, even before some of these meetings had occurred, he knew that there was a steel and not a steel beam. He knew that it was there, it was created, it was done. He knew a lot more. He knew it was going to happen. He said it would happen way before these comments that she even made. So if you narrate through that political bunch of shit, and that's what it is, she's a good lady. I'm all for her. I'm not against her. But this is just a big pile up, and that's what it is. You have to look at dates, times, and places, and comments. And as I did that, I found out that Trump said a lot about this way before. He knew about this all way before, etc., etc., etc. And this is why I say he signed all these documents prior to it that led into this, to lead them into their own demise in our republic in order to save it, crush it, eliminate it, and eliminate them. He knew if he did it halfway, he was going to always have an infiltration of corruption in it. Somewhere, something, someone would lie on the other side. And anytime you have given somebody an inch in life, and you remember this, they take a mile, that's what I think he faced. I think this was well discussed with the military. I think that the act was signed. I think everything that was important was in place, and I don't think that he had a choice to do anything different, even though the American people sought for it, wanted it, begged for it, posted for it. And we have, and we did, and we wanted that. But he had to turn his back to us for bigger reasons, for a smarter reason, for a better objective to where America could be. I'm not saying Sydney's wrong, and I could be wrong here. Lord knows I've been wrong in my life many a times. We all have. Misjudged things. But if you think about it, her comments to that date and times don't add up to what I know, what I've researched, what I found for you, what you guys have shown me. Go back in your own minds. Think about this. It's all good that she was there. It's all good that she still was in the process for him. Or is she part of the narrative that knows more than what she can actually talk about? So I don't want anybody to get, all up in arms about her comments. I want you to go back and do your own research, and you'll be enlightened. And when you do this, I think you'll find what I found. I found a measurable asset of good information that says that's not what happened here. It's not what happened here. But I do think it was all secretly signed. And the circle was already bought, okay? These people were bought that were around him. And he was dealing with this corruption in the White House daily and probably having a really rough time working secretly. Even though these people were working with him, they were probably bought, paying and telling all the secrets out because they knew everything to attack as soon as they walked into the office. They went right after everything that he did, although it was pretty much publicly known and public knowledge. These are how these things work. These are how plans of such sizes are orchestrated. You don't come in one day without not premeditating a huge freaking plan like this that had occurred. You just don't do it. So likely all the corruption existed there. He knew it. Military, maybe. I'm really figuring that's the way it went. I don't see any other sign of anything else of truth. And I'm going to say it the way it is. I don't care what anybody out there in the world says. They can disagree with me, from the biggest guys who do this to the smallest guys that do it. Research is everything. And, knowledge is everything. And that's why we share. And I hope that puts you guys in a better place. So if any of that got you, stuns you, a lot of what he does stuns me. I said that last night. I don't get it. I really want to talk to his ass. I do. Give me 10 minutes. Give a small guy 10 minutes. I will ask you questions that nobody has even given a thought to bring up to you, Mr. President, because I can do that. I've been waiting for it. Now, I want to tell you a little story. This is an irritation. And this is a new narrative. Get used to it in your life, okay? Get used to it in your life. Walgreens cuts a deal. With who? The White House, of course. And the people that they put in place to push the narrative of this terrible VAX, okay? Of this miracle, whatever, cure. They put John Legend into it. You remember his despicable wife, Teigen, whatever, Christina Teigen, something like that. And what came out on her. But John has a softer side. He is a feminine side to him, okay? Truth, he does. That's him. You look at his personality, look how he talks. Look how he moves. That's just him. I don't judge him bad for that. But they were looking for a savior, someone to push a narrative. And they found John. He does a warm-hearted commercial performance to promote this Frankenshot, or the freaking lie, as we call it. And with this, insights, if you pay so ever so close attention, of a reward to those who receive it. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Because as I say, we are going to be the saviors of the world for the population of true humanity, not the Frankenshot people. There's going to be a very big, huge divide there. But anyway, so you got John doing this bullshit. I will say he did a pretty phenomenal job at it. Didn't sell me. You can't sell knowledge. You can't suggestions, as commercials are in everyone's mind. A narrative of push that's always been there. You know, a marketing ploy. No different than what John's doing here. Even though he's married to one of the most despicable women on earth, with comments that are just unjustifiable about children and so forth. But that's okay. So, you know, to receive it, it's like you're going to be rewarded. And we won't be. We will be the ones on the tail ends being left out of things as this continues forward. The rewards will go to the people of mass numbers and the ones that brought their children into the issue to offer them into this experiment. Terrible. And now we're seeing the numbers even getting lowered on the ages. Another terrible incitement of facts of, this is where the F-bomb wants to drop, and I'm holding back not to do that in case there's kids out there, because I do want to respect people's homes. I come across in homes. That's what I do. Anyway, you know, I'll keep that F to myself until Friday night, where I'm going to get angry. And anything will go. And I'm going to forewarn you guys now. When I speak hot, it's going to be crazy. Friday, I am going to open up a bunch of cans of worms. The sugar coating's coming off. The icing doesn't have to go on the cake. And I really hope you pass that on where many, many join in and share it out throughout the United States of America. And I mean that. I know I got all 50 states behind me. That I do know. And I know you guys will do an incredible job. Look forward to Friday. But with that said, you have this issue of that. And you're going to catch this commercial. Big narratives of pumps of money are now going into what I call manufactured commercialism and manufactured media. They're just expanding the manufactured point of where, who, how, when, and what. And now is the time. Now is the time to boost those numbers. It's not going to do any good for anybody. Not from what we know. Please look up Tenpenny, Dr. Tenpenny. She'll blow your mind. She always blows mine, I'll tell you that. And there's more. I can give you at least 10 really high credential people who have a lot to say about what's going on. All I'm going to say to you at the end of this, with this experiment of this commercial, because to me it was just an experiment to see how that would go over for them. And more to come. Many, many more. They're already being filmed and processed, and I know that for a fact. I know it for a fact. It's been given to me. So say no to Christy Teigen. Say no to John Legend. Say no to Walgreens. And say no to drugs, period. And you have that choice. You do have that choice. So the new norm. Yeah. I talked about that recently. Kind of got forgotten. Remember the new norm? All the media bobbleheads? The new norm, the new norm, the new norm, the new norm. Channel 2, 4, 12, 16, 22, 53, 41. Bing, 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 bing. The new norm, the new norm. All these voices and repetitious numbers. The new norm. Da, 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 da. 33, 33. Bullshit. Bullshit. All bullshit. That's what it's been. That's what it's been. And I know you're open to that. I know you get it. I know you do. So, you know, let's go to this new norm and maybe why I got asked some of these questions a lot in the last few days. I have a lot of Christians, and I got respect for all of you. I really, really do. And I know your voice is important. I'll throw some things at you. I'm not making judgments at them. I'm just making observations. And this has to do with a lot, and maybe where humanity came from and more. You know? There's been much written in history, but remember, in history, histories that aren't suppressed, if you can get your hands on them. I've been fortunate enough to have things shared with me and paid attention to a lot of things that people didn't watch or look into growing up where I did. And it all fits a certain circle of pictures and people. But again, it's always going to be your choice. There's a lyric out there that was pumped out years ago. Tell me all your thoughts on God, because I really want to meet her. Her. As a feminine God. As a feminine God. I guess some of you guys will remember that. Tell me all your thoughts on God. It probably rings a bell. It probably rings a bell. I'm really grainy today. Anyway. So, tells me that what we see here in front of us of narrative is a true fight between, which we already know, Satan, religion, the dark, the light, both genders. How does the both genders fit in? Well, I guess it's all in the mind of the belief, of the person who believes. And when people explain some of the narratives and hide narratives of truth, it creates confusion. So on one hand, the Catholics say, this is the cup of my blood. And everybody drinks from it. Interesting. In the Catholics text. This is my body. And, you receive communion. You're sharing within, even though you're not having the body. You get what I'm saying? This is why I put a twist on my observations of things. So the body and blood of Jesus Christ, representing the Lord, the Lord our God. It makes you wonder, when man writes these books, why certain ideologies or principles like that, such as that, are put in there. Or are they just a disillusion of what they want you to always believe in? So there's always been a separation, the good and the bad, the dark and the light, the devil, God, Jesus, etc. The Holy Spirit, the whole thing. And that's where the religion becomes difficult. And that's where they use their narrative to entrap people in many ways. And I think a lot of us have been entrapped in all of our own religions and beliefs. And I think it's up to us to see through those scenarios of it. Because to me, that is part of why they are using a cultured syndrome on America. And I really believe that. Because they know our God, the Lord and Savior of the light, is more powerful than of everything that has ever been dark. Even though with representations of certain suggestive things that come to light, principal things that are written down in scripts and Bibles, texts, Old Testament, New Testament, there's much confusion there. And in that confusion, it explains things. But it doesn't tell you all the true whole picture to it all. And the reason I bring it up again, and I'm just going to say this is because I've been asked several questions that I don't always like to address, and it's time that I address them like this. Because we as people, in my mind, I feel life is karma. I feel consciousness is enlightenment. I feel, and it's, as I expressed, in experiments, we know where people have together joined in consciousness and meditations. And energy cycles have come out of them in many, many, many ways and fabrics where it's proven, in strengths, in health, everything. And they suppress that from you. And again, their cancer to their religion could be just in fact and based upon maybe the darkness of skin. Maybe what they point to in the book as being purposeful, even though you see it. And here's maybe where whites racism that they use against us could be as the light. So you have the people of the light who may be just white, and then you have the people of dark who may be all of color. Dark and light, light and dark, racism. Just saying, just saying. I'm putting that out there to answer somebody's question, Cheryl. I hope that may have helped you a little bit. That's just my opinion of observation of that. And I think we do have narratives that do cross like that. But I always say this, remember, the creator of all this greatness, we have no books in his hand handed to us. We only have experiences of man who wrote. Man has always had their right and their opinion to lead people by example of their writings, whether false, true or false. And that puts you in this place of religion versus war versus politics, because that's their ideology and that's their mentality of where they're at, and it's low, it's dark, but I think we should look at it. Because I think if we are taught all is consciousness, all is everything, all is one, that means, as they see it in the dark, if he who is all is in you as a female, and he who is all is in as a male, becomes a neutral gender. Get it? There's a neutral gender. He is in a horse. He is in a cow. He is in the makeup of trees, grass, the sky, the clouds. Everything that is beautiful of the earth. I'm not quite feeling it the same way, but I get their ideology. I don't agree with their ideology. But I can see where they can make a valid point of it. Now, how they're going to press it to you, I don't know. And you're going to make your own choices in that manner. Again, I compiled several questions that came to me in the last month, and I don't like to avoid them, and I knew it was time to get it out. I hope you guys hear this. I tried to answer the best I could. Your faith is your belief, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more under conservatisms and conservatives. It's your rights to choose. This is where opposites can attract or detract from each other. This is again a push that they push. But you decide to change or not to. Or their changes now, or what will yours be? Or theirs, which means future elements of narrative. So if you put this blanket together that way in your mindset, it may help you in some ways, And always remember, I am Michael Anthony. This is Waking Up with Me. I didn't bring my coffee. I didn't. I made a cup and I forgot it. I walked out. Mr. Dave, I want to just say this, is having a really hard time. We're trying to do something together, and I don't mind working with Dave. If I can get a word in, because Dave gets going, man, he gets pumped. He's a rock star. He gets pumped out there, and I get it. And right now he wants to smash all of his equipment. Well, we all go through that. April, don't go away on me. Did April go away on me? I can't tell from here, actually. I'm hoping she didn't. This is for April. April follows some things that I follow out there. And these are a lot of basis of truth. There's a lot of suppression here. And disclosure is coming, and we're in it right now. It's about to be thrown in our faces in ways. I guarantee you. And it's been happening through the Pentagon and through many reports that got out there, many leakers over the years, etc. But in 1966, a Westall school had an incident where they expressed and reported a sighting. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. I'm not going off base weirdly here. It's a conversation now that most people can have that's not so much difficult as it was once upon a time, and based upon, it's a lie, it's a conspiracy, and he's a conspiracy theorist, etc. But this came out, and this gentleman, Andrew Green, was told by the military he's not to talk about it. He's never to mention it. If he does, they will go to the Board of Educations in that area, and they will, let them know that they have determined that he's seen nothing and that he was drunk on the job. So they put like threats to his kind of thing, narratives, twist to keep his mouth shut, etc. So what was reported that day by 200 children and several teachers were purple lights and a cylindrical cigar-shaped saucer, not saucer itself, that particular object, did come down, did make meet land, had purple lights buzzing all around it, and words of other issues took place but were not brought up in the last segment. So just to let you know that that story is becoming out there now more, and certain things are being released and not being touched where years ago they'd have been removed, slammed. But hey, we got Tucker, we got Hannity, we got everybody talking about this stuff. Lou Alessandro, there's many, Richard Dolan, Jimmy Church. There's a whole community of people, respectable people, who have great jobs, credentials. George Knapp. These are the leaders, Dave Icke, who have tried to give everybody fair shake, fair warning of disclosure. And we're at that point right now. And if you can't catch Skinwalker Ranch, check out some of the ongoings there and the studies that have been going on, as well with George Bigelow, who had the property, a rich guy who was fundamentally in reverse engineering and very high technologies, who could not really figure out what they were dealing with. But when he was once asked, where do you go to find, UFOs or aliens? His objective to them was, you don't even have to leave Earth. They're here. And that tells me the dimensions and spiritual things that affect us in life. In some ways, people feel there are guardian angels and guide us. They could be, or I could be totally wrong here. I'm just saying they could be. So yeah, 1966, at that school, 200 people saw this UFO. The teacher's name who gave the report was Andrew Green. Please check into it, look it up. But 200 children witnessed this fact. They drew pictures of it. Much came out of it. But again, suppressed by the military there. And that's the truth. Now let's kick off to something else. April, I saw you kick in and kick out, I believe. I talked UFOs for you, sweetheart. I did. And I try to fit that in as much as I can. It's a 1966 story at a school, so you'll be able to check it out and look it up, because I know you will. You're a rock star. That's what you do. Biden, they're saying, carries this memorizing number in America where he is so well liked, but only at 33% of the American people are now saying that. So he came in near 70, if the facts are true, but they're not, on November 3rd and 4th, and we know that's not true. And more will come out about that and be exposed shortly in time. Big things coming there, big things. And it will get dropped. How it will stand out there without being suppressed, I don't know. We'll be in that fight too, I'm sure. Media won't want to report on it by any means. But if you stick to your Christian channels and news media and Newsmax and whatnot, they do give honest assessments of reports. So yeah, he's at a low, an ever so low of history at 33% in America. So I'm just wondering if that's even true, if it's even that high. Who supports him? I don't know. I don't know anybody that I walk across in front of these days that do, but I know we do. And I will say this, the people out there that need to wake up, they're not going to. Their time has come and passed. If they didn't get this, there's a small fragment of people out there who just don't do what we do here right now, and they don't interact this way. Maybe their lives and their mentality is different, or they just don't care, or it's just not for them. And that's weak. That's weak as an American citizen, if that's your case, because everything out there is knowledgeable. You're hearing something somewhere. You're just choosing not to accept it, which means they never will wake up. We are going to have that process, just as we're still going to have a small process of people that just haven't caught on. But out of the majority, I can assure you, they're not going to wake up. We are pretty much where we are. Rises and highs and lows on both sides. We'll see some more, but how many more? I don't know. I truly don't know. All right, so VP Harris and I was also telling the U.S. companies to invest elsewhere. Follow my lead here, okay? As what she's suggesting to them. She's telling them to invest elsewhere. Meaning follow the money and, my way or the highway kind of thing is how the United States will follow, no matter who's in office, as long as she still has a reigning seat to an office. We don't know where that'll go. much is coming out on Trump for August. There's a lot of things being said there. Has he himself personally shouted it out? No, but it's being reported out very, very clear, very, very loud. And let's face it, what went down in Florida there the other day for, Memorial Day, thousands of boats out, people, maybe not boats, but people, all up and down in the rivers and whatnot, just partying their asses off in support of Trump, making their own Trump rally out there. Rock stars, rock stars. But Harris is pushing this into a phase. Now let's talk about Harris just for a minute, just briefly. Her own family owned slaves, and we know that that's a fact true. Sugar plantation, I believe, was in the family. Her husband's Jewish. Her children are both Jewish. I mean, this is a sucking fuck at the top, okay? Without a doubt. And maybe her husband likes it. Maybe that's his joystick to life. I don't know. I don't care. Point is, if you look into her life, look into her family and ancestry, and even I think there was some comments by a judge that used to be on TV. I think his name was Joe Brown. It came out about, I don't know, this is in the past, but they're making it look like it's coming out now. This is in the beginning, several months back, maybe 2 months back. Maybe it's not quite at the beginning. He even pushed the narrative where he met the family, some of the family people years and years back, where they were at like a function because, her family were involved in things where he came into them and he learned who they were and said that there was even Irish in the family. So here you have someone pushing a narrative that she's black, and it's reported back even by black people that she's not black, that knew the family, that had actually engaged with the family, knew the family history, and so forth. So yeah, check into that. And if you're looking, use the date around 1939 is somewhere where her father passed away, and that's where the history really opens up. Because they suppressed everything from 1939 up until now in ways. So if you want to know the true history, people who talk this racism and systemic racism and everything else in America, and who these people of narratives and issues really are and where they're coming from, eat that one, Harris, because it's true. So will Trump come back in August? I don't know. But, maybe it was just a Memorial Day narrative ploy to push and give us hope for the future. Again, will he? Can he? Of course he can. He's a citizen of the United States. He's already a president. He's already enacting, still president under the military eye, with much coded information that only he has, So, yeah, could it be possible? Now, are people just pushing a narrative on reports to see where America is? Is this a test to see what his strengths are? They're not going to kill his strengths. They can't do it, and they know it. He is the worst nightmare to the left that they have ever come across, where supporters of America and the United States just are not going away. And we won't, as long as we can stay strong, all for one and one for all, and believe that. Put all the other false, fake, bad family issues out of the way, and we can continue in this path strongly. And I know to them that is just corruption on our part. We are the corruptors here. Remember that. That's the narrative. We are the bad people. They don't care if you're the most beautiful Miss America in the world. If you voted for Trump, you're the ugliest, most unlawful citizen of the United States in their eyes. Again, that's their side of how they see it. It goes inside with religion, transgender, color of skin, satanic worship, more, the body, the blood, everything on the table. It's out there. And the narrative of how big it is up to you to accept it or to research it. Sometimes I think I know too much, and I misplace my adjectives of where I need to place things. So I hope that kind of backtracked a little bit and put a better perception to some of it for you. Because I'm not schooled at this. Not at all. What I am is I'm pissed off. I'm pissed. I really am. I'm pissed that we're not getting to better places in this fight. But we know we have a lot in the circle and in the right still there on their side, pushing their narrative against us, even in our own political parties. And this is terrible. But this is what we have. in this fight. As I told everybody from day one, it doesn't matter who you voted for. You'll come around. The ones that don't won't, as I just told you, percentages of this, that, bad, good, will not, etc. But anyway, that's how it just works, and that's how it's going to be placed out there. But again, that boat thing was impressive. Thousands of citizens came out in support to him, and that's just huge. Where Joe made a little statement on the White House YouTube channel, which is never suppressed, no matter what he says. You know, even if he told everybody in the world that he wanted all of us without vaccinations to be shot and killed, that would be approvable. That would be approvable. But his audience size was only 7,300 people. So I don't know how that weighs in at 33% of the American people by any means. Again, it could be that just people are sleeping, and that's their narrative of where they want to be in this whole charade of a shit show up at Nancy Land and in the White House. But again, we know that White House is somewhere in Hollywood and also sometimes actually filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. And that is true. That is true. So, I'm going to try to make the best of my day. Screw the rest of that news. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I'm trying to really put something strong together for Friday. And I'm not going to refer to what I say as a cutesy party, okay? I've been hearing that little terminology being used by a few people out there. No, anger is anger. And when it's in you, it's in you. And I hold back from a lot. If I was to speak freely and get out there, just like Eminem used to do. What do they call freelancing or freestyling? Well, my mouth goes, man. It can be like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, truthfully, I can rock it out. I've held back in many ways just to try to stay disciplined, to keep organization in my own mind and well-being to people, to someone say, hey, we like this guy. He's worth listening to. He's got a message. It's important. It is important. Every day we don't need to hear from Michael Anthony. There's no doubt about that. Too much is too much. Otherwise, I could share a lot of other shows that I'm involved in doing. But I stay to you guys on a personal level this way because we can talk, and I wish I could do that more with that. But I'm not going to overload. I want you to check out the YouTube, though. I know some of the hours were put up. We ran into a glitch. There's at least another 100 hours of things and episodes and formats that I have that I've been involved with over a period of time that will say a lot more. But you know, I'm not telling anybody like, hey, let's do the weekend like on TV. They used to come up with that thing like a weekend on Gilligan's Island, and you would watch nothing but Gilligan's Island the whole weekend. I don't want anybody to turn their life into make a weekend with Michael Anthony and have your cup of coffee waking up or whatever on 10 o'clock talks. That's not what it's about. But the respect to get as much out there as I can if you do want the insight of where I've been, how I've been objective to it, when I put out the information, how much before I put out the information in many ways. And I know some of you that are here will support me to that because you have followed for a long time. And I so love you guys to death for that. I do. You have just been wonderful with me. You're my support system. You're the reason I wake up. You're the reason I want to do my work. And the same reason I want to work hard when I'm done. When I leave here and I'm done and I did the most that I could do for everybody for that day and that time, it's all about you. It's all about you, your voice and your opinion. And I've been able, for some reason, with an angel over my shoulder, to keep live here every day as I have been. It's been a joyous adventure. And I will say this, I hope and I do pray for you guys. In my own mind, I'm not a big pray Bible study. I believe in everything good, peaceful, love, compassion, karma, and how one lives and respects each other more than I care about any of these books. More than I care about them. Not that I don't believe them or that I disbelieve them, but I like to find my own inner being that way to who I am and how I am with people. And you guys help me stay grounded that way. And I appreciate it. I really do. April, I got some interesting things for Friday night. And I'm thinking, and I've been asked to do a couple special segments through MUFON to upload there. They've been asking me to upload. Some people know me. And we're going to be doing some through the summer up here where we get together, have big fires. And it's a lot of sky watching stuff and whatnot. And I am in the hot spot. I swear to God, I am. And if you ever want to come up, you're welcome to. And I've put out pretty much an open door policy to that, as well as anybody who wants to come on the show, talk to me, engage with me, engage intellectually, Get into common senses of figuring out the world and where we are in this world, with many things, because there's many things unknown that can piece things together. And they've been written, they've been described to us, they have been explained to us from 250,000 years ago. People think the world started, 3,000, and it didn't start 3,000 years ago. Even 25,000 years ago, there was a change and modification. And it's provable in ways. It's provable by what has been found, even though that is information suppressed, through tombs, through a bunch of things, where they find, dead and fragments of this, that, and the other thing. We know much about this world, but they're shutting down and killing science on us as well. So that's where we are in America. It's a sad place to be, but we don't have to keep it or look at it as a loss. It's an educational point of fact, actually. It truly is. Because we have learned one thing if we didn't learn anything at all. When you're right, you know you're right because they remove it. I'm not wrong here. They have removed it. So they want you to believe what they want. And it doesn't matter about religion, politics, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to give you all an applaud because you guys are all the warriors of the 10. You're rock stars out there in America. You're the warriors for America. You women are great. You are. You follow me stronger than men. I don't know why. I'm nothing special. I shouldn't get under their skin. I speak my mind just like anybody else out there. And I make suggestions and opinions, and maybe how I explain things, it just somehow does better work for the ladies out there. I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys so much. I truly, truly do. I want you all to have a great, great day. I want you to stay strong. Think about what I told you. The cyber attacks that are now going on, they're destroying meats on purpose. They're buying crops on purpose, paying 2 to 3 times the amount of money. That's probably what actually happened out there in the harvesting plants. Keep these things in mind. It's against us. It's against you. It's against your children. It's against, if it's not your children, then it's your children's children. They're still out there. They're still ours. And if it's not, it's your neighbor's kids. Still extend that love and relationship to them to understand what's important here is how we will continue in humanity. I mean, truthfully. This is all about a bigger picture. I still haven't put all the nails done. I haven't nailed it all in the head yet. You guys are going to help me do that. And we're going to share it together, and we're going to educate each other in better ways. So, you know who I am. No sense in saying Michael Anthony again, unless you joined in late now and you're just figuring out who I am. All right, so Monday through Thursday, 9:50 to around 11 o'clock. Then I opened the door for Wendy Bell, another great, great girl. And this chick got like 168,000 people to come on her page. I mean, I'm just like the open format for her. And then you have Dave, who's trying his best out there to just get on to talk. And I wish him luck. I hope he gets this resolved. So I kind of opened the door for her. I think we're a support system to each other, even in limited ways. But I'm glad to help her. She's a rock star. She has a voice. She's somebody that's been out there for years. And it is what it is. Again, so Monday through Thursday, 9:50, I come on. Friday nights, I think I'm going to change it to the 10 o'clock talks, the anger segment, because I'm getting tired of being nice to people. And I got to give a last shove here before what I see is the worst to come in America, to get who's ever left out there awake, because I think it's going to be pretty unsuccessful to do it for them if they haven't come around by now. I think there's been plenty of time, plenty of news. But there's refusal in their hearts, in their minds. They just don't want to accept it. So we're going to give it one last real hard shot, and we're going to change a little bit about how I am Friday. And I'm just going to come raw at you. If you have kids, maybe you want to watch me at a different time, whatever. If I slip at the tongue too much, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm getting angry here for the sake of where we are and what's not truly being addressed as strong as it should be. I just think they're not putting all the important factors in the front of the line. Everything is important, count nothing out, but we do have to go through and decipher what could be the most important elements of where we are as our families, our humankind, or what our forefathers were here for, what they died for nothing for versus when they died for something of the United States, if it was a cause of a war. And we can't even believe that those facts are true, as I say repeatedly. So, yeah, guys, have a great, great day. Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate you so much. Please like and share. Look forward to seeing more on the YouTube channel. If I would ever go dark, it will be to YouTube, and I'll have my reasons for that. If anything comes out strong and I think it's factual, you'll be the first guys that I share to. You'll see it through your messenger, and you'll also see it on here. I will come live to do it. And at this point in time, that could always exist. It could happen. So I want y'all to have a pleasant day. Thank you. Prayers to everybody. Lots of love from the 10. Again, get out there and share. You guys are rock stars. Take care.